This is part 4 of the Classic Craftsman Drill Press accessory, the Vari-SLO speed control rebuild series. If you haven't seen part 3, click the link at the top of the screen. At the end of part 3, I said that was the final video in this series, but I decided to add this one since there's so little information out there about the Vari-SLO. In this video, I'm going to be talking about parts and if you are missing them, how to fabricate them or how to locate them, and all that good stuff. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. So the first part we're going to be talking about is the control link assembly. And this arm basically is the one thing that seems to be broken on a lot of the Vari-SLOs that I've seen for sale. And that's probably because somebody attempted to change the speed of the drill press while the drill press was turned off. And as we discussed in video number 3, the drill press needs to be on to be able to change the speed. And if you try to force that arm while the drill press is off, you can break it. It's just made out of cast Zamek, and that can break very easily. It's a pot metal, basically. So here you can see the control arm and or the control link assembly is what it's actually called in the parts diagram. And the part number on it is SR350. So if you just want to replace this, there's an individual called Third Devil that is selling these or CNC cut aluminum versions of these on eBay for about 53 bucks. That includes shipping. Now in the Vari-SLO that I have, that I got after I made the video series, the control link assembly was, well, replaced by the previous owner with a piece of steel that he cut out and used the original as a template. And I decided that I didn't like it being made out of steel. It's too heavy. So I decided to fabricate one out of aluminum myself. And I drew up a tracing of the actual dimensions of a control link assembly from the one that was used in the first 3 videos of this series. So if you decide that you want to try to fabricate your own, you're going to need a couple of things, and you're going to need a way to cut aluminum, and I mean like a bandsaw or something along those lines, and then be able to sand it and shape it and all of that. You're also going to need to be able to drill out a couple holes in it. So you're going to need basically a 1/2 inch thick and 1.5 inches wide and at least 7 inches long piece of bar stock aluminum. You can buy these pieces of aluminum off of Amazon, or you can buy them from various metal wholesalers online or locally. It's not very expensive. You're going to need to print out the dimension diagram that I have linked in the description of this video, and then you're going to need to measure it with a ruler to make sure that it printed out at 100% and is accurate. It should be a total length of 6 7/8, and if it's off by any amount, then that control link that you fabricate may or may not work. If you don't have it, you're also going to need a 1/4 inch dowel pin, and you can get these from McMaster Carr. They come in a set of 5. And that sells for just under 10 bucks plus shipping. And these dowel pins are 1 1/4 inch in length. And that's the size that you're going to need. 1/4 inch in diameter, 1 1/4 inch in length. And if the grooves for the dowels actually extend past the first, I'd say 1/2 inch, then you're going to need to sand those down so that they're not interfering with the function of the control link assembly when you use it. So if that sounded confusing, you only need the dowel part or the splines that stick up or the grooves that stick up on the dowel itself for the first 1/2 inch of the dowel. The rest of it needs to be completely smooth. And that's all you should need to be able to fabricate a control link assembly. Just trace it out on the aluminum, cut it out, sand it, drill out your 2 holes, drop the pin in there, and you should be able to rock with that. And I'm sorry I didn't film all of that when I made mine, but I didn't know I was going to make this additional video at the time. So there you go. The other part we're going to talk about is the control knob assembly. And so this was another part that was missing from my Vari-SLO, and the person I got it from had replaced the knob and the stud that connects the knob to the control arm, and I didn't like what they replaced it with. It just looked too modern in my book. So I started searching around on the internet, and I was able to find a Bakelite period correct knob that is an almost exact match for the one that is used with the Vari-SLO. The original knob that came with the Vari-SLO is part number SR360. And this was a Bakelite knob that had basically 3 ridges around it, and it was threaded on the inside, or it had a threaded insert that was 3/8 by 16. And the control arm itself also has threads on the inside of it, which are 3/8 by 16, and the stud was 3/8 by 16 on both ends. So after doing an extensive search on the internet, I was able to find out that the Harley Davidson motorcycle from the 1930s and 40s and 50s, certain models had a shifter knob that was made by Daka Ware, D-A-K-A Ware. So if you just search for that, Harley Daka Ware motorcycle shift knob, you'll come up with a ton of results. And all of these are basically the same. They look almost exactly like the original knob that was used on the Vari-SLO. As far as I can tell, they're basically the same dimensions, and the only difference is that the threads on the inside of these knobs is a 3/8 by 24 thread. So these knobs sell for a variety of prices on the internet. I've seen them as low as about $15 and as much as $100. So your mileage may vary, but you should be able to find one if you need one for a reasonable price. You're still going to need a way to address the thread differences though. So to get around that, you're going to need a stud that has one side of it threaded with 3/8 by 16 and one side of it threaded with 3/8 by 24. And here you can see a pack of these, 5 in the pack, sell from Zorro for just about $10. So that's a fair price in my opinion, and it doesn't look exactly like the OEM. The center section that's smooth is not as wide as I would like it to be. But, you know, hey, it's a good replacement, and it does what you need it to do. So to use all this, all you need is some thread lock and the stud and the knob. And here's the knob and what it looks like. And this was a used one, so most of them that you find are going to be used, but no big deal. And these are the 5-pack of studs. 3/8 by 3/8 16 by 3/8 24. And I think they sent me more than 5 in that, but you know, hey, who's complaining? And all you're going to do is on the 3/8 by 24 side, which is the tighter threads, you're just going to apply some Loctite and then screw your knob on there and screw the stud all the way down in there, and then tighten it down as tight as you can get it without breaking that knob. Remember, it's Bakelite, so it will break. And then with the aluminum shoe in place and the control arm installed, you can just screw the knob in there and then tighten it down and then shift it, loosen it up, shift it, tighten it back down, make sure everything's functional. Super easy, and it looks pretty good in my opinion. So the last couple of things I wanted to talk about was that I did a alteration to one of the diagrams so that you would know exactly which belts go where. And there are 3 belts on this system: a 20-inch by half-inch belt, a 17-inch by half-inch belt, and a 21-inch by half-inch belt. And this diagram, as well as the control link assembly diagram, are linked in the description of this video. You can download them and use them all you want. There's also a link in the description of the video for the owner's manual, which gives you the complete instructions and the parts diagram and all of that. Somebody's going to ask, so I got all 3 of my cogged V belts off of Amazon. So if you just go in there and search for half-inch by 21-inch cogged V belt, and for the 17-inch and for the 20-inch, you'll come up with the belts you want to order, and you can just order them directly from Amazon. So one of the things that I do with all of my classic drill presses is I install a power panel on the inside of the drill press that has a light on it. And the motor plugs into it, and then it has one power cord that comes out. I drill a hole in the side of the head casting, and I install an on-off switch on the side of the drill press. And I think I briefly covered some of that in one of my 100 or 150 rebuild series videos. But I had a viewer reach out to me about how I did that. And when I was installing the Vari-SLO, I realized that my power panel wasn't going to work with the Vari-SLO installed on my drill press. So I had to come up with a way to make a power panel that gave me a light, allowed me to plug in a motor, gave me a switch, and I decided I wanted to do it in a way that was going to be removable, so it wasn't permanent. You didn't have to drill into your drill press to do it, and it's something that everybody could do for fairly cheap. And before I get started on my Gen 4 rebuild series, that's going to be the next video or videos that I do, is how to make this light power panel setup. And if all you want to do is make the light part of it, that's fine. But it's stuff you can find at Lowe's or Home Depot, and it's pretty simple. Doesn't require a whole lot of tools. So be sure to check that out. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a good time. If you did, please like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support, and I will see you next time.